I'm going to let you into a little secret here. The Fowler family car used to be a Citroen C3 Aircross. Now, it did the job perfectly well, but it was never really a car we fell in love with. I guess you'd just call it cheap and cheerful. This is the all-new Citroen C3 Aircross, and straight away it looks a whole lot more purposeful, more SUV-like, with a beefier, more rugged design, and it's bigger too. In fact, in some versions, it's big enough to fit 7 seats inside. The other big news is that the Citroen C3 Aircross has gone electric. In fact, you can have a C3 Aircross in 3 different flavours. You can have petrol, you can have petrol hybrid, or you can have this electric version, which is badged e-C3, as it should be. Now let's just take this style in for a little while, shall we? This car is inspired by the wacky Citroen Oli concept of a couple of years ago. We love it when Citroen goes wacky, don't we? Things are toned down for production, obviously, they always are, but you've got a lovely big Citroen chevron here, you've got chunky alloys down the side, some rather unique and individualistic rear lights, again, pure Citroen. And you can even personalise the C3 Aircross with these colour clips that are in the bumpers, down here and back on the C-pillars. Now, I reckon the Fowler family is going to quite like the looks of this car, so thumbs up so far, but let's have a look inside. The C3 Aircross is much bigger than before, which means a bigger boot too. So in here, you have got 460 litres of space, and that will grow to 1,600 litres if you fold the rear seats down. You've got this thing here, which you can make it deeper as well, but that's not too bad. I reckon that's pretty dog friendly and a good few suitcases. So yeah, family friendly too. I'm not a natural backseat passenger. One thing I like about this car is the doors open really wide, which if you can fit your kids in a child seat is really important. Nice deep windows as well. But the bottom line is, I am just under 6 feet tall, and this seat is exactly where it was when I was driving. Loads of headroom because of the new big square shape of the C3 Aircross. Good knee room, loads of spaces to put things. There's a pocket there, there's another pocket there, there's a couple of USB sockets down there. So I think your family is going to be quite happy in the back of the C3 Aircross. Let's have a look at the front. I think the interior here is quite clever because this is clearly a budget car. A lot of the plastics, if I tap them, they're quite cheap, but they've warmed it up with a lovely piece of material across the dash, and it's kind of leatherette on the doors, which is quite nice. Good storage, so big door bins for your water. You can put it down here, and there's storage in there, a couple of cup holders, and I really like this kind of small oval steering wheel and the high set instruments there, a little bit kind of Peugeot-like, so that's good. 10.25 inch touchscreen is good, and praise the Lord, we've got separate controls here for the heating and ventilation, so you don't have to delve into the touchscreen to try and get yourself a bit warmer. Heated seats in this car too, so Mrs. Fowler's going to be very happy. But what's this car like to drive? Let's get out on the road, shall we? So I've driven a C3 in the UK and was really impressed with it, how comfortable it was. And yes, the C3 Aircross, unsurprisingly, follows that theme. Citroen Advanced Comfort, so nice big squishy seats and clever pneumatic bump stops on the suspension system. Which ultimately just means it's a comfortable ride. But let's start with some numbers. The battery in this car is a 44 kilowatt hour battery, not huge, which means the range is 188 miles. That's not great, is it? There is, I'm reliably told, going to be a bigger battery version, which will be more expensive, obviously, which may well go 250 miles or more, but 188 miles for now. The only thing I would say is when we had a C3 Aircross, we didn't do stints of 188 miles in that car. That car probably barely did 188 miles in a week, so it may well do you absolutely fine. Now, we're very lucky as well. We have off-street parking and a charger at home, but if you don't, this car will fast charge at a reasonably fast speed. 100 kilowatts is its fastest charging speed, which means it charges from 20 to 80% in 26 minutes. Now, everything I said about the C3 Aircross, e-C3 Aircross, has to be taken in context. Electric cars are expensive, aren't they? Think again. So the e-C3 Aircross is actually cheaper as an electric car than as a hybrid. Really? That's the truth. This car starts at £22,900 for the Plus version, rising to £24,990 for the Max version, which comes really nicely equipped, even with those heated seats. I think that's pretty good value. If you like your 0 to 60 or 0 to 62 times, this car takes 12.9 seconds. So it's not exactly quick like some electric cars. What I love about this car, it's all about comfort. It is really comfortable. It rides really, really well. These are great Spanish roads. We've driven on some pretty awful ones while we've been testing the car as well. And it rides really, really nicely. Beeps at you a little too often, but it does ride really nicely. There's good visibility. I mentioned the deep windows in the back, nice big door mirrors, and good view out the back. And there's this touchscreen here. There's a good, clear reversing camera. So really, I think the e-C3 Aircross is a very comfortable and calming car to drive, which is really handy if you've got noisy kids in the back. This car has not been honed to within an inch of its life around the Nürburgring in Germany. Yeah, the steering is fine, it's direct, it's not much feedback, and the car will lean a little bit as you go through corners, but it's not a sports car, it's a family SUV, and for that, it's perfectly right. So you can get a C3 Aircross in May this year, and our car lease finishes in June this year. So would the Fowler family be interested in a new C3 Aircross? Well, it's way better than the old car. It's bigger, it drives better, it's electric, but what I like most of all, it's just so comfortable. It's a really easy, comfortable car to live with. And isn't that what you want from your next car?